Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a first impression and a demo, and I will be using the new Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. And I'm really excited to be using this because normally I can't do any kind of first impression, or it's really delayed because things don't always launch here at the same time they launch back in the States. So this actually was here in our stores yesterday. So my awesome husband went and picked this bad boy up for me while I was at work. So I'm really excited to be able to try this product out and it not be a month or two or three later, which is really nice. So it won't be kind of like an afterthought. But if you would like to see my first impressions of this palette, then please keep watching. So I will show you for comparison purposes. I do have the very first Huda Beauty palette, and this is the Rose Gold edition, and this is the new one. So they do look pretty similar size-wise. This packaging is obviously a lot more sturdy than this one. I do like that this one had the clear front, so you can actually see the shadows. It does kind of give it, I guess, a cheap feel, but I like being able to see the shadows. This one, it's very pretty, and you can see that there's a metallic shift on the packaging, which is beautiful. And of course, the front is Huda's eyes, and this lettering is raised a little bit. And then when you open the palette, there is the little eyes as a cover, and that's actually really thick. There's a really nice mirror in this, and it's really heavy duty. And then of course this beauty, and I have been eagerly waiting for this because I think that these colors are just so beautiful. And of course the very first things that I look at would be the amethyst and the twilight. I think that those two are definitely my jam. I know that people were not super excited about the first one because of the crushed metals. I think that's what they were called, or the textured eyeshadow. And they're okay. I'm not a big fan of having to dip your finger into products. And if you've watched my videos, I've said that probably every single video. I just don't think that it's the most sanitary thing. But this shadow palette, it comes with 18 shadows, and they range from matte and there are also the toppers, the duochrome toppers. They have the satin finishes, and then Cosmo is the full glitter. So I'm going to do a few swatches, and I will probably include swatches a little later in the video, and so you can see each one. So let's dive in. For the look, I think that I'm still deciding if I want to do just one look or if I want to do maybe one eye and one eye. I don't know. Very indecisive. We're kind of shooting from the hip right now. So all my face makeup is already done. My eyes are already primed. And so the first color I am going to go in, I want to see the pigment of this desert sand one. So I'm going to try that. And I am using a Sigma E40 brush. And I'm just going to dip into... Okay, so I just kind of tapped in, and I will show you. If you can see, I don't know if you can see. Not too much fallout, a little bit, but it's not terrible. So I am just going to put this all over my eye, and I do have primer on. I have the soft ochre paint pot, so I'm just going to use this just to kind of set down. So I am excited that she put in a creamy or white toned color, because I do feel like the other palette lacked that. So you know, if you do want to travel, you're only having to take one. Okay. Oh, let me zoom you in. Okay, so now that you are all up in the facial region, so the next color I will go into, and I'm just going to use it as a transition color, will be Eden, which is about one right there. And I'm still going to be using the same brush. Tap a little bit of that off. Ooh. Ooh, she's pretty. Now, I was a big fan of the matte shadows in the rose gold palette. The other shadows, they were okay. But I really liked the matte, so I kind of wish she would do an all matte palette because I feel like her formula for mattes is really, really nice. And this, just from initial application, it seems to go on pretty smooth. It's not skipping at all. And I normally have some dry issues right here, but it doesn't seem to be catching on that. So that's a positive for right now. I like that color. I think I'm gonna go for the amethyst because I definitely have to look at that twilight. So I'm just gonna swatch it real quick. I kind of want to see what the payoff is. So I feel nice and silky. If you can see that. Ooh. So who's gonna? Probably not. Okay, so that's just a light little swipe. So of course I definitely want to see what it looks like using. So I'm going to take a Morphe M433, and this is clean, it's just stained. So I'm going to dip into the amethyst color, tap off a little bit of the excess, and I'm just going to start out here. Got a little skip action right there. It could be my skin though, so. But I do like the color. I'm definitely a purple eyeshadow fan, so I do like the color so far. I feel like maybe I'm just being like super conservative because you can definitely build this up. As you can see it right now, it kind of looks like I got popped in the eye. But I do like the color, and I like that you can build it, or it can actually be a little more on the sheer kind of conservative side. So if you're not wanting something that's in your face purple, you definitely can do that with this. Not too sure what's going on out here though. Could be user error. Could be the brush. Could be the product. Who knows? I'm going to go back in with the original brush that we used with Eden on it. I'm just going to put just a little bit more of Eden on there just to kind of buff out the edges a bit on this side. Okay. So far, I like it. I think that the color's really pretty. Do I think that it's anything groundbreaking? No, not really, but it's pretty. So, you know, the makeup lovers in us, if we see something that we like and it's a pretty color story, you know, we're normally gonna pick it up, which is why I wanted this palette. While these three shadows, the Retrograde, Twilight, and Celestial, which are these three in this row, while those three are the same, they are the duochrome toppers. This one, Twilight, definitely feels like one of the crushed textured metals, whatever they were called in the first palette. It feels like that. It has kind of like that wet, damp feel, whereas the other two do not feel like that at all. Retrograde almost feels kind of crumbly. I'm interested to see how they perform. So I am going to take Twilight, and I'm just going to use, I believe this is a MAC 217 brush. It is a bit weathered. I'm gonna just swatch this on my hand just to see if it picks it up or not. and it only comes out really as a shine. I put it, here, I will show you. So I just tapped into it, and it does sort of come off on the brush, you can see. But then you can barely even see anything. So I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild flat concealer brush with Twilight. So I am putting that on, and it does, like when you touch it, it definitely gives a little bit. You can feel that. So that's definitely reminiscent of the first shadow palette, which means I'm probably gonna have to stick my finger in it. Okay, so I'm gonna try, all right, so I'm gonna try to wet the brush to see if I can keep my finger out of this eyeshadow. The color's pretty, but no. So, all right, so I'll just dive in and with my finger. Well, that's really pretty. All right, I guess using your finger isn't that terrible, but it's just not what I want to do. That's all. And normally I have long nails, so it makes it a bit difficult. And this is what happened. So this is the purple look that I've definitely been waiting to try out. And this is with the colors Eden, Twilight, and Amethyst. All right, so I have my transition shade in, which is Eden, which I have a feeling will be the transition shade for me. I'm going to go in with Amber. Do something a little more bold, I think, as far as color, because I normally am not a red wearer, but oh, this color is really pretty. It's like a reddish, definitely with some brown undertones to it, but you can see this color actually blends really nice. I feel like this one blends a little bit better than the purple for sure. This is a really pretty color. This is not a color I would normally gravitate to at all. Every once in a while, but this, ooh, oh, I really like that. So you can definitely intensify this. I cannot get over how pretty this color is. Maybe I need to incorporate some more reddish tones so this can kind of be like a Halloween eye and like a fall, like a Thanksgiving. See, here I go. This is what happens. This is how it starts. But this is super pretty. And this is one shade. I'm not using anything else. I have not used anything to intensify this look at all. This is one shade. That's pretty darn impressive. I'm just taking the Sigma E40 that I had Eden on, and I am just buffing out these edges just to give it that more blown out look. I am in love. I was thinking that this was my jam, but I was very, very mistaken, because this is my jam right here. Give me all of the fall things now. Now, Do I want to use Blood Moon or Turkish Delight? Okay, so here are those two colors swatched. The top one is Turkish Delight. This bottom one is Blood Moon. And these are gorgeous. I am going to use Blood Moon. This one right here. Take a concealer brush. This is by e.l.f. And see what kind of, and I did not wet this, so wow. Do you see the payoff? And I didn't wet it. There was nothing, no like a wet primer underneath. That is straight out of the palette. Now there is a little bit of fallout right here, so just beware of that. But so as promised, I'm going to do a few swatches of some shadows that I may or may not actually end up using, but I definitely want to see what the performance of the shadows are. The very first one I'm going to go into is Blazing, which is a beautiful, like a deep orange color, and I'm just going to do them just like this. That one is really actually very pretty. And then Saffron is next, and I will tell you these shadows are right next to each other in the palette. They're both mattes and they feel completely different, which is really interesting. Next, I'll do Royal, which is like a purple, and that one is really pretty. That's more, it almost looks, it has like a purple, like a cranberry shift. That one actually would be really pretty, of course, with the amethyst color that I have on my eyes. And then next is Nefertiti, I believe. Nefertiti, yeah, that sounds right. And it's very light, but it's pretty. Definitely has some glitter. And the other one that I want to swatch is Cosmo, and it is the glitter shadow, and it's very, I just dipped my finger in, and that is what you come up with. It's definitely like a loose but pressed glitter. So let's put this one right here, why not? And that one is really pretty. But this one definitely is, if you have to put that on with your finger. And I'm wondering what the fallout, because I'm just looking at it resting on my arm, and some of it is actually on. But if I do this, you can, if you look, you can see there's definitely a lot of glitter. So that one I would definitely recommend using maybe a glitter glue with, just to keep it, or even a mixing medium to keep it in place. But I am going to finish up the lower lash line, and I will be right back to give my final thoughts and if I think that this palette is something you should pick up or if you should pass on. So would I recommend picking up or passing on this palette? I would definitely recommend picking it up. I think that it's a great value for the quality of shadows that you get if you don't have anything like it in your collection already. So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, I'd greatly appreciate if you'd love to follow. All right, guys, so these are the completed eyes, and I am very, very pleased with this palette, even more so than I was with the first palette. So I definitely recommend picking up this palette, even if you have some things that are maybe similar in your color story that are in your collection already. I think that this palette is a huge hit. It is definitely surpassing the first palette, so I'm very excited that I own it, and big props to Huda she's killing the game. So if you are wondering if you should spend the money on this, I definitely think that it's worth it. And luckily, if you pick it up at Sephora, you can always return it if for some reason that you're not happy. But I definitely think that people will be much happier with this palette than the first one. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already, and leave this a thumbs up if this video was helpful to you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.